right, everybody, welcome to another episode of The Blind View here on Rumble. And here's your host, Miss Rebecca Meadows.
Hello, everybody. How is everyone on this fine Wednesday evening? I am your host, Rebecca S. Meadows. Thank you for joining us for another exciting episode of The Blind View here on Rumble. I just want to give everybody a shout out. How are my co-hosts tonight?
I'm very well, doing pretty good. I'm glad to hear that you are also.
Yeah, this is Paul, and I'm doing all right as well. We are missing Anya, or at least that's what we're publicly going to say anyway. I don't believe she's here today. So
Nope, she's not. And guys, I went and voted yesterday.
I voted early.
You voted
person, not in person, but I dropped mine off in person.
I went and voted in person, or I tried to. You know, we just moved to Payson a few months ago, and I went with my husband yesterday, and we went to go vote. First of all, he wasn't able to vote, but I was able to vote because he did go online and register me when we moved here a couple months ago, right? But I could only cast a provisional ballot because my ID still has my Mesa address on it.
Sure.
And since I didn't bring a piece of mail proving that I live in Payson, I guess, whatever. So anyway, so I was able to cast a provisional ballot, but they didn't have accessible voting machines. And I was really disappointed, and I made sure to tell them about the accessible voting machines, and they better have them in November when I go back to vote, because otherwise I'm going to really raise the stink about it.
I can't trust the machines anymore. There's too much funny business going on that's not actually very funny. I wish I could, but
but don't you think
I think I'd rather do what I think you said you had to do one time, Becca, or was it Anya, where there's a representative from the Democratic and a representative from the Republican Party?
Yeah.
I mean, I would trust that more than a machine. Didn't you just hear about New Jersey just yesterday?
No, what happened in New Jersey?
It's like, oh yeah, like we didn't know. We all know it now. It's very clear to people like me in the know that the machines are crap because
they're.
Like there was a whole bunch of people that were like registered that shouldn't have been, or misregistered because of a software error. Yeah. I'm sure it was an intentional software error too.
Yeah, but if you post a ballot, if you have a ballot that you do by mail, you don't think that can't be messed with just as easily?
Also can. Yes, indeed it can. I agree.
I mean, you said you voted early, so I mean,
no. But I dropped mine off in person.
Yeah,
I got a ballot. I filled it out at home and dropped it off in person.
Yeah, well, when I went last time and voted, and I was able to use an accessible voting machine for the first time, I was able to use the machine and mark it all myself. I was able to review it, make sure it was marked the way I wanted, and then I was able to print it out. And then I was able to put it in the sealed thing and go drop it in the thing, right? So I really felt comfortable about that. And I know you're angry at the machines, but I think the machines you're referring to are the regular voting machines that the sighted people use. Those are the machines that are going all wonky and that are being tampered with and stuff, not the accessible machines that blind people are using for voting.
But then the question remains, though, I mean, if those could be tampered, the mainstream ones, what's to say that the blindness specific ones couldn't be either?
Well, so I suspect that the number of blind voters using those machines doesn't really make it worth their time to go to each of the machines around the country and tamper with them to try to prevent a handful of people from voting.
I would honestly
voting a certain way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I would honestly say that we probably make up so little of the population. I don't know how much our votes would matter.
It doesn't have to be that way, though, ladies and gentlemen. I'm speaking to our viewers now. Like,
I agree.
Blind people. I think blind people should start going to the polls all the time and voting. This thing we just went and voted on. It was like for county commissioner and superintendent of schools and those sorts of things. There was nothing on there really significant, but I felt it was really important for me to go vote because I just moved here to the community and I wanted to get myself out there and let them see there is a blind voter in the community here, so they better get their accessible voting machines pulled together, you know?
I mean, I agree with you, Becca, that I also liked voting accessibly. One time I did that in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And so I agree with you. I also liked it, but I can't trust it. And you do bring up a good point, you know, and if there is a difference, then I wish that would be delineated much more broadly and clearly.
If there's a difference between the voting machines, you mean?
Yeah. But I'm fortunate enough to be married to a good woman that'll help me fill mine out. And yes, I do trust her.
My
So-
husband would have filled mine out. In fact, he did because they didn't have an accessible voting machine. When they didn't have an accessible voting machine, like it was at the church that Tim and I have been going to here in town was where they had the voting that we went to. And when I realized they didn't have a voting machine, instead of throwing a big stink about accessibility and suing them and all of that, I said, okay, guys, I said, I've dealt with this before. What they usually do is they have a representative from the Democrat Party and a representative from the Republican Party present. Well, one of them helps me fill out my ballot, and then the other one can make sure that they are filling it out the way I'm saying, you know, and that's what they've done in the past. And so I suggested to them that they could just do that. And so that's what we did yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my husband actually filled it out, and there was a Democrat there. So
yeah, and I trust that more than the machine.
I know, but I like to use the machine because I do trust these machines. At least the one that I voted on, I really feel like it worked out right, you know. And
now, how would you feel? Because I heard about this on the radio. I don't remember if this was 2020 or 2024, but in any event, voting was a hot button issue. The politics was a hot button, like they are, unfortunately, these days. Well, I was listening to this show, and I don't know if it was a guy or a girl, but she emailed this show that I used to listen to, and they go, I have a bit of a problem. My spouse or my significant other and I had mail-in ballots, right? Okay, and so they go, my significant other had mail-in ballots, and I wasn't able to fill mine out at the exact same time as my significant other was. So my significant other ended up filling mine out and dropping it off. Well, my significant other and I don't agree on politics. And I asked my significant other who they put down for who I wanted to be voted for. And they said they put down who they wanted voted in and not what I wanted voted in.
That's a crime.
And I don't know what the person's question was. I don't know if it was like, should I break up with this person? Well, I don't remember what the exact question was. I just remember the story, and I remember thinking, holy smokes.
I think they should.
I agree. I couldn't tolerate it.
That's very, very, very questionable.
I wouldn't be able to tolerate that. But then the question when I brought it up to other people was, well, what if they're married and they have kids? You can't do that at that point.
Well, you can. In the eyes of the law, oh, yes, you can. So I think it would depend, because I'm thinking like in terms of a will or any kind of trust or any kind of insurance documentation.
If they're willing to forge your name and stuff on voting, they would on all these other legal documents he's mentioning. You know,
I wasn't wanting to bring this up, but y'all both are married. If your spouses did that to you today, what would y'all's reaction be to that?
My spouse wouldn't do that to me. Neither one of my husbands. My first husband would not have done that to me, and Tim would not have done that to me. Because they feel the same way I do about the sacredness of our vote and our union and our nation and our constitution and our rights and everything, you know.
No, I agree, which is a good thing. But
Yeah.
if y'all was at a crossroads to where it wasn't that, how do you think you'd react to that?
I'd be
I
very
would
upset.
absolutely withhold financial benefit.
Yeah.
There would be punitive measures taken. Absolutely. You don't do
Yes.
that. Like Becca
Yeah.
said, that is a federal crime.
Oh, I
in
was
the first
mad. I was
place.
mad for that person.
You have to understand, I feel a little bit differently about it because when I got locked under that guardianship when I was 20, those 15 years I was locked under that guardianship, my guardian had the authority to sign my signature on legal documents. Him signing my name carried more water than my signature had.
Yeah.
And it
Mhm.
really frustrated me. So this is a very important topic to me. And my husbands that I've been married to understand that. So no, they wouldn't ever sign my name to a document.
I couldn't believe that story. I was like, wow. And I think that
Yeah.
happens more often than we think, because I used to get a ride from a taxi driver,
Mhm.
and him and his wife did not agree on the political issues anymore. And so if they had to have filled out those ballots together, and maybe he filled out hers or she filled out his, like, ooh, I don't know. Cause I mean, it wasn't like they mildly disagreed. It was, they really disagreed. So I gotta wonder what would have happened in that scenario if you feel that passionately about something. I mean, I could
Well,
see people doing it.
And I can see a spouse calling the cops and reporting their spouse for doing that because it is a really serious thing. You know what I mean?
And I'm not saying that, that those particular people that I know would have done that. That taxi cab driver and his wife would have done that, but I know that they, had significant
Mhm.
disagreements, significant ones. So
To me, it's not only a huge breach of etiquette, but it's also breaking the law. And I just wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't tolerate that from any of my.
yeah, I just think in this
I
day and
wouldn't
age,
either because of what I think it portends about other legal matters that are also very weighty.
Yeah. Like if they're willing to forge your signature on something like that, a voting document or something, why wouldn't they forge it on a will or in life insurance documents or whatnot? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So.
yeah, well, I just think that people are that divisive, is I guess what I'm trying to say with that is I think people are that divisive today that I think that could be something that happens. I think maybe more often than maybe not. So hopefully it doesn't.
Well, I
but-
mean, we can't even get the Save America Act passed. So
Well, I still have high hopes for the Save America Act.
I
So-
hope.
So are you guys going to go vote in November?
I certainly
Oh,
plan to.
absolutely.
Oh, yes. I'm going to go vote too.
I mean,
And-
I know there's people with differing opinions, and I know people who don't believe in voting, and I don't agree with that, but I understand where they come from in that regard, because the system is so broke, or there's so much fraud that happens, and I can understand that. But I do believe, for me personally, it's for my own peace of mind, it's important to do that. So I encourage people to go do that. So if anyone's listening, remember November.
I've known a lot of pessimistic people in my life who don't go vote because they don't believe in it. But, the more losers like them, the more our votes really matter, right?
Well, and I just say to anyone,
So-
if you don't vote, then shut up because you don't get to vote. Whatever
Yeah, you don't get to
happens,
complain.
happens. You can't complain after the fact. You didn't even go vote.
Yep.
And like fundamentally, I disagree with their argument. Okay, I understand that like one vote is probably not going to make the difference, but when we make it too big to rig, that does affect the Electoral College.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know all of the particulars, but the Electoral College cannot. I'm pretty sure they cannot just blatantly and flagrantly disregard the will of the voting public. I think it does factor in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know the point of the Electoral College is to make it so that humongous states like California and Texas can't, basically make the votes of smaller states like Rhode Island and Connecticut. Right. But I don't think that, and that's another funny thing. It's like who are members of the Electoral College. We never know. So is that a big scam too? I don't know. We never know. But whoever they are, I'm pretty sure they can't just run roughshod over the voting public. So go vote, people. Otherwise, sit down and shut up.
Yeah, and people, if enough good people go out and vote, good things can happen in America. And we need more good people voting.
Yeah, like we thought was going to happen in 2024.
That all is perspective when you say good people. Because if you look at some people, they'd say if you vote for Trump, well, you're not a good person. How could you vote for someone who behaves like Hitler, or if you vote for Kamala, how could you do that? How could you vote for someone so stupid, So,
well, when I say good people, I'm referring to God-fearing, Constitution-following, like freedom-loving, Second Amendment practicing Americans.
Well, what I have seen, and I wonder if we'll get emails about this, but what I have seen is most people, people that I've met that are blind or visually impaired, may not vote the same way y'all choose to vote. I'll just say that.
Oh yeah. I understand there's some blind people that are liberals, but I've known a surprising number of blind peeps who aren't liberal. Because
I know a lot more who are.
Blind people are very smart, and we have a kind of perspective and insight that the average Joe doesn't have, I believe.
Because I would suggest you, and we don't have to really get into this, but I would suggest that most people who are part of the NFB probably vote a lot more left-leaning than some on the podcast might.
Right.
I just feel like, I can understand the grievances and the umbrage that most people are taking right now. I feel like that old song, here's the new boss, same as the old boss. And I don't know what all the causes of that are, but right. Yeah, to those of you that feel like, we were fleeced, we were hoodwinked, we had the rug pulled out from under us. Right. I don't feel like for about the past 8 to 9 months that our current POTUS, president of the USA, has been very America first. And I'm also tired of all the foreign, Israel and Ukraine and Iran and don't care. But
the argument that I've heard from people who are very in his camp say those will help America in the long run.
And there's very specific reasons why we were involved in each of those situations. Correct. Yeah. Correct. And a lot of them have long-term consequences and benefits that
for America
we can't see right now. Yeah.
That's what the argument is.
If you guys like the economy right now, more power to you, but I don't.
I think the economy is slowly getting better. Slowly but steadily, I think.
I'm not really seeing that where I live. I'm not going to say it's not happening where you live, but I'm not seeing that here in California, at least in Northern California where I live. So,
and I don't like the seemingly schizophrenic. We've won the war. They don't have anything. We hit them so hard. Strait of Hormuz is still closed. We've won the war. The war is over. We've hit them so hard. Gas is $4 a gallon. And this is, happened multiple times. So it's like, no, President Trump, the war obviously isn't over. We're firing munitions back and forth. Iran fires, we fire. Iran fires, we fire. No, Mr. President, the war is clearly, obviously, overtly not over. I don't know who's telling you what, but it is clearly not over. Said the blind guy. Even to me, it is clearly not over. If it were over, Iran would be crying. Iran really would be decimated. They wouldn't be able to fire missiles all over the place at whoever they want, including backstabbing their friend. It just doesn't make sense.
So can I tell you why I think Trump keeps doing that?
Yes, please, if you have some insight.
So there is a Christian philosophy that you speak what's coming. You because you believe it, and when you believe what God's showing you, and you speak it, it just makes it more real, and gives God more power to make it happen. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. And I think that's why Trump's been doing that. He's speaking of not what's going on right now, but what he foresees happening.
Look, I wish, and I know this is people take a dim view of this, but I don't care. I wish, but I'm going to explain to people why I feel like we haven't done it. I wish we would use hypersonic weapons. Now,
I don't know why they're not.
Well, because the reason we're not is because the worldview seems to be that would be like a 16-year-old fighting a 4-year-old.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, oh, you can't win with conventional munitions, so you just pull out the hypersonic. You doggone right we do.
Well, you know what? I don't know why he doesn't just freaking blow the people he is quote unquote negotiating with. I don't know why President Trump doesn't just blow them to hell and back, because they've been murdering their people. They're like guilty of crimes against humanity, and you know what I mean? And that was the whole point when he began this, was taking them out so they would no longer be a threat to the United States and the rest of the free world.
Well, and to your point, I think he's shown a lot of, too much, in my opinion, restraint. Now, I'm not really a war hawk, but I mean, how many times have they broken their word?
Yeah.
I mean, at least 4 or 5. It's like, okay, we obviously know we can't trust anything they say.
And by showing all this quote unquote restraint, I believe Trump is doing that to try to appease the left. You know what I mean? His critics.
I would agree with that. When I hear Trump talk, as little as I pay attention to politics, the little that I do, what I hear a lot of is him trying to pander as much as he can to both sides. Because I know he sees his approval ratings. I know he sees that. And I know he sees it, not great.
I think Trump needs to stop. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after these messages. Please stay with us. Hi, it's me, your favorite author, Rebecca S. Meadows, here with another message. You can go up to Amazon and search Rebecca Meadows author to get your hands on each of my books. And each book is available in Kindle, digital download, Amazon print on demand, or on Audible. So enjoy, and please send me an email at beccameadows76@gmail.com and let me know what you thought of my book, okay? Oh, and please go up and write a review for me too. Thank you. Peace out.
All right, everybody, we are back. Yeah, I mean, his approval numbers are pretty low right now, and I just think it. I mean, I understand like what you're saying, Becca and Paul, that hopefully there is some long view, but I don't trust that either. I just don't trust that either. So.
I wish he would stop saying things just to please some of the voters. I think the voters need the truth, whether or not it's what they want to hear. So he needs to figure out if he can finish this war, and if he can, then he needs to get it done. And if he can't, then he needs to be honest with the voters about that too.
I would agree with that. Just be honest and.
Well, and I'm not even saying that he can't, but I'm saying put it to a worldwide vote. Like, we have hypersonic weapons. Because I think that's a hybrid approach, because again, at the beginning of this thing, J.D. Vance recommended not doing it, and so did the Israeli Defense Force. But Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump did it anyway. So, but now I think if we put it to a referendum, we can, to quote Benjamin Netanyahu and his ilk, cut the head off of the snake. But we're going to have to use hypersonic weapons to do it. What do you guys, do we want the head
Well,
cut off or not?
Listen to what I said on a previous broadcast. People are like, oh, but it's evil of Trump to kill so many innocent men and women and all that stuff, right? But what did God always tell the Israelites to do in the Old Testament? He always said, go in, kill everybody. Don't leave anybody alive. You know what I mean? That's what God always told his people when he sent them out to battle. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, that sounds more like nuclear, though. See, and I do think that there are probably a lot of good Iranian citizens, that don't deserve to be nuked. That's why I'm advocating more for hypersonic, so that we can be more targeted and strategic.
Yeah, and I'm not saying nuclear either, but I know we have the capability to do more than we're doing.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree with that.
and I'm like, what are you waiting for? You know what I mean?
But I think both sides, when it comes to Israel and specifics, both sides really, I think in this day and age, I think there's a big part of people maybe on the left who are also supportive of Israel, no matter what as well. I don't think that's a conservative Democratic issue. I think there's a lot of people on the left that are very pro-Israel, and I think most people that are conservatives are very pro-Israel, and Israel must be protected at all costs. So when you talk about, doing something like that to Israel, I think Trump would lose. I think even more. His approval numbers would even decrease even more than they are now.
I'm not encouraging him to do anything to Israel. I'm just saying he needs to finish Iran and get off the pot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I'll point out, scripturally, Israel was punished more than once by God, because they weren't some perfect nation, awesome, amazing nation all the time. They had to wander 40 years
in the desert. Yeah.
Okay, but I also know that in 30 states of the USA, if you criticize Israel and you're anybody with any kind of platform, it will not go well for you.
So I look at it like, if he ever did anything in regards to them, his approval rating would continue to drop even more than they are now. So.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't think Trump. There was a time when Trump did things without worrying about his approval rating, and I think things were going a lot better back then. And I think he needs to get back to doing things without worrying about his approval rating. He needs to do what he knows is good in his heart and his mind for the American people and the rest of the world.
I don't so much care about the rest of the world. I'm America first.
Well, yeah, but because America's part of the world, it affects the rest of the world. So where it does affect the rest of the world, Trump will take that into consideration,
I mean, I guess. But, like, for example, we should not have to go back in and rebuild Iran.
Oh, right. I agree with you.
Well, but that's what we've historically done.
I know.
We went in and rebuilt Afghanistan. We went back in and rebuilt Iraq. I don't want to.
We went to rebuild Japan.
We were in Afghanistan for 20 years rebuilding. Remember?
Well, and that's where I'm concerned again. I was a little bit hopeful that we had this memorandum of understanding, and the Iranians can use AI just like we can to interpret. So I don't want to hear any crap about, we did not understand or have the language barrier. No, you didn't. You can have that translated just as easy as anybody else can. And what did you do? You turned around and you violated it. So I wish that we would end this in 4 days, like Israel originally said we could. So that's I don't know. But have you guys heard the Pentagon's running out of money? We're gonna have to do something. You guys.
I didn't hear that. The Pentagon is running out of money. So the money we have set aside for defense, national defense, is running out, I guess.
No, it looks like Secretary Pete Hegseth mismanaged the budget. We fired a whole bunch of stuff, and it hasn't had the effect we wanted. So we're still out that money. So
Yeah.
no, we'll see. We'll see. I'm just sitting here in the Garfield neighborhood of Phoenix, you know. They don't consult me about this stuff. So I don't lose any sleep over it, but sure wish groceries were cheaper. Sure wish real estate was cheaper. Sure wish autos were cheaper. Automobiles were cheaper.
Me too.
Is there a car you want to buy?
Well, I'm happy right now, but hey, if I could refinance it and do even better, I'm open to that. And for all the people trying to buy cars right now, prices continue to be elevated.
What kind of car do you have now?
Right now, we've got a 2019 Chevy RS.
Oh, okay.
So and
So
I
if Chevy
paid
would like to
about
sponsor the
20
podcast-
grand for that.
So if Chevy would like to sponsor the podcast, feel free to do so. We just give you free advertising.
Yeah, we did.
That reminds me. You know, Tim and I have been driving the van that we bought a few months ago back and forth between Phoenix and here so much. We got to get it in for an oil change. And
Is it a
I
Chevy
need to
too?
remind him. It's a Ford. It's a Ford. A Ford
Nice.
passenger van. I'm trying to remember what it's. I think there's an actual name for it. I don't remember.
Oh, okay. What is that? That's not the Aerostar, is it?
No, I don't think so. Trying to remember.
It doesn't matter. Just curious to know.
Yeah.
But that might be why you have to send it in. It's a Ford, but that's a topic of another discussion.
Well, no, we just got to get an oil change for it. It's been like a week
okay.
since Tim first mentioned it to me. But I don't think we're doing. Well, yeah, actually, we got to go back to Phoenix tomorrow, so maybe Friday. No, Friday we got to go to Phoenix too. Saturday we can get in for an oil change here in Payson. So
Oh, okay.
we'll have to set it up for Saturday, I think.
Yeah, I'm wanting things to get cheaper too, but I think honestly, 6 months ago to a year ago, the prices was cheaper than they are for certain now. At least where I live is what I've seen. But now the prices are steadily but slowly continuing to rise, and it sure ain't at the pace that the wages are rising. So,
Yeah.
No, I literally saw a statistic earlier this week. Inflation is currently at 3.5%, and job growth, and salaries have increased at an average of 3.5%. So that means nobody's doing any better. Because it's like, oh, my wages went up 3.5%, but oh, damn, inflation is also 3.5%. So,
well, I'm also hearing from different sources that the job market as a whole ain't doing great. So there's that.
I've heard that too. So, that's what I mean. America first. Let's put Americans to work.
Yeah, I agree.
Or at least people in this country legally.
Yeah.
So Ford and Chevy, if you'd like to sponsor us, please do, because we'd all like a little bit more money in our pockets.
And if you have a direct line to President Trump and you're watching the show, please send him a copy
that too.
of today's show so he can know how the blind community is feeling about things too.
And how do you do that? You just send him the YouTube or Rumble link?
Yeah, just gotta.
Okay.
So if you have President Trump's cell phone number, you just start a message to him and copy and paste the link for the show in the message, and it'll send it to him.
And hey, tell the finance people, 99 million, that should just be the beginning, Mr. Besson. That should just be the beginning. Do more. So we don't give money to dead people anymore. That's good. $99 million saved.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's a good start.
Oh, you guys know what? My air conditioning still isn't fixed.
Oh, really?
Really? But I think they're supposed to be coming over tomorrow to fix it.
Well,
but it is fixable though, you think?
Oh yeah, I think so. So there's 2 units in the house into the 2 biggest bedrooms. There's units, and then they're connected to the outside thing where the brain and stuff is, and it's the brain that went out. So that's what they had to replace.
Well, if it makes you feel slightly better, we are out of washing machine.
Your washing machine's down? Is that what you said?
Yeah, we ain't got no washing machine right now.
Oh, is there a laundromat near you guys?
I believe so, but I may just go to a friend's house and say, "Can I use your washer?"
Now,
I mean, I don't know.
Is everybody in your house blind?
One person can see.
Okay, so and they probably don't want to drive everybody's laundry to the laundromat.
I don't think so. So we'll maybe just go to a friend's house, or if I lived closer to y'all, I would knock on y'all's door and go, "Hey."
Good, because my house has AC and functional laundry facilities. So.
Whoa.
Oh, hey, maybe I'll go to Brandon's house and enjoy his AC.
You want to come to
Exactly.
Miller House? We're having burritos for dinner.
Oh, really? Okay, great. I'll have to see if I have your address.
Oh, we're having we're having ribs for dinner. So
Ooh, okay.
yeah.
Tim is making salmon, and
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't remember what he's making for the sides, but
I'm
Salmon.
not sorry. Salmon's all right.
Salmon ain't.
Oh,
I
I
had
love
too much
salmon.
growing up. Yeah, y'all gonna keep
yeah.
it.
I gotcha.
Which actually leads into what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about cooking a little bit.
Okay.
I have known a lot of blind people over the years, just like I'm sure all y'all have. And it seems to me that the majority of blind people that I have met don't do a lot, if any, cooking at all. And I wanted to kind of see if y'all on the panel, and maybe I should have asked this next week when Anya's here, but I wanted to kind of ask if y'all do any cooking, and if so, do you like it? Do you enjoy it? Or do you prefer to eat out or do microwaved meals? And also kind of curious to know if we get any email or comments about this, because it is, I know, something we all got to eat, right? So very curious to know what people have to say about it. For myself and for around here, we do cook. See, you should have played that song there. Oh yes.
I wonder if there's a song about cooking he could play.
I don't think so. If I said that we had fried chicken and mashed potatoes, he does have a song for that.
Can you post a picture?
Exactly. See, we have fried chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans. Sometimes we even have coleslaw if you're real lucky.
I'll take the first 3.
You don't want no coleslaw? Oh, you gotta have the coleslaw, but you gotta have the mayonnaise kind. You ain't want the. Oh, it stopped. You ain't want the vinegar kind. You don't want that. I had that when I was down in Georgia. Did not like it. Did not like the vinegar coleslaw. Yeah, it's totally different. I was like, I've never found a coleslaw I don't like, but this time maybe I did. But I do cook, and
how dare you?
The people in my house do. Some of us do cook. We don't cook as much as we maybe should, but we do it, and we can do it. And no one's ever gotten sick or died from our cooking. It does take us longer, obviously, than people who can see. And our methods are obviously different, but wanted to get kind of some input from the panel and maybe some of those listening to the podcast as well.
I have the ability to cook, but I make a lot of messes when I cook, and it's very frustrating for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm a perfectionist, and because when I cook, gosh, it seems like nothing goes perfect. I really feel like a failure when I cook, even when what I cook turns out great. And we just moved into this house a few months ago, and we don't even have everything unpacked. The kitchen's kind of unpacked, so I'm just letting Tim cook, especially because I'm doing my show tonight. Sure.
So when he cooks, is he using a grill? Is he using just a skillet, or how is he cooking, say, the salmon tonight?
I'm not really sure. We have a George Foreman grill that I think he's used before, but he might be cooking on the stovetop tonight. Mm-hmm. I'm not really sure. Babe, if you're watching the show, do you want to yell out? He's just in the next room, and sometimes he watches the show. He must not be watching the show.
Oh, wow. Okay. Brandon, what about you?
Well, so me personally, kind of like what Becca said, I can cook, and I'm not really a perfectionist. So I mean, I can, but it's not my forte, right? And like I definitely lean more into flavor than presentation. So I'd make a terrible chef, I think.
Me too.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I can, but honestly, my wife does handle more of that. Just out of traditional, like just tradition, and we have a traditional marriage, and then also there's I agree with what Becca said, like
bigotry here.
I know there's not there's I'm an equal opportunity offender. But no, I agree with Becca. I might take a little longer, and definitely I know I have in the past made some messes. I've since, so let me give you a specific example of what I mean by that. As a blind guy, in the past has been hard to know, like when a noodle fell out of a pan that I was stirring.
Sure.
Making say goulash or spaghetti or something. Right now, I've since learned there's a certain way you have to stir, but the point remains that when a noodle like that falls out, it doesn't make any sound because it's already getting soft. It's already wet, and so it doesn't like
unless you
make
hear
a
it
sound
sizzle
like
on the burner.
Right. But by that point, it's definitely too late. So that that's just one example. So I mean, there are accommodative techniques that can be used. I can cook, for sustenance, for staying alive. But I'm definitely no chef, though.
So, do y'all know a lot of blind people that do cook or don't? Because the reason I kind of asked this was I've kind of realized talking to different blind people that I know, and I have, like I've talked about in other podcasts, excuse me, I have, sighted friends and blind friends, but the majority of the friends that I have that are blind don't really do that. And I know people who are very successful, if you will, who look like they make a lot of money, and they just go, no, I just rather eat out. And maybe that's a societal thing too. I don't know.
Could be because there's all the kits.
Well,
The
and
community,
during the quarantine, I think a lot of people started eating out during the quarantine and just got used to it.
That could be. Yeah,
What?
someone else said the same thing to me.
Is it on fire? Oh, you cook with the frying pan on the stove. Tim wanted us to know he's using the frying pan on the stove top to cook salmon tonight.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, babe. I guess he's watching the show now.
Oh, okay, good.
He must have been watching the
That was funny. Is it on fire? Huh?
Oh, well, I didn't know what he was saying. I just heard him say something about the stove.
That would have been a whale of a show, especially if we got to hear the smoke alarm in the background and everything. That would have been a show.
Well,
We're having blackened fish tonight.
when I first started Becca's World back in
Sorry.
March of 2020 that I think we started, but we were doing cooking shows in the beginning. Gino and I were really awesome cooking shows. I was cooking some really awesome meals, but they're very lengthy. And Gino and I, I live in Payson now, and he's in the East Valley. So
yeah, but you can't. Well, and I also know some blind people that do have very extensive cooking backgrounds. And that's one thing I can say. The people that I've talked to that have lost their vision later in life, they do say, oh yeah, I know how to cook. So yeah, I mean, I use a couple of accommodative techniques, but I mean, I know how to cook. That wasn't that hard to transition.
yeah, so I went blind when I was 12, and everything I could do before I went blind, I could do after I was blind, except for reading. But I never learned how to cook before I went blind.
Sure.
Learning how to cook, I was completely as a blind person. So,
Well, I think it's
well,
like
and I mean, like, I don't even know how I would even handle the whole. How, like, you see the servers have like a whole stack of plates or whatever, or a whole tray of drinks or whatever. Like, I think that would be really hard for me.
Yeah. So before the accident, I babysat a lot, so I'm really good at childcare, and I'm good at like cleaning up a kitchen and doing laundry and vacuuming and stuff like that. But that's because it's just basic home house cleaning. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Um,
And I think with me, I have a friend of mine that lives with me, and we're very, very close, and they've helped me a lot, kind of with different cooking techniques and different tips and tricks, to where I'm a lot better of a cook than I was before being here. But before I was living here, I still cooked a fair bit as well. It is a lot more fun to cook when you have someone with you to help you cook and wash dishes and that kind of thing. It's also a lot more fun when you're cooking when there's someone also to enjoy the food with. Because when I lived on my own, I did cook because you can't eat out all the time, but I admit I also ate a lot of frozen dinners, that kind of a thing. Because it's kind of like, well, I could cook all this, but there's no one.
Why do you want
no
to
one
do it for
share.
just you?
Yeah, there's no one to share it
Yeah.
with, and
It's a
you
lot
can
of
have
work
more
for one
leftovers.
person.
But yeah, to your point, Becca, there's a lot of work
For just one person. Yeah.
If I live on my own again, which that is not out of the realm of possibility in the near future, I think I would cook more than I was doing it then. But I mean, you can buy 5 frozen dinners. That's not good for you, but you can buy 5 frozen dinners for $12. I
That's
mean,
pretty good.
that's pretty cheap. Now, there ain't nothing good for you in them, but you can do that, and it's going to cost you a lot more to buy, say, a lot of vegetables, and just a pack of ground beef is, say, $8-9. So
Yeah.
but looks like we're on a break soon. So
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Hey everybody, are you enjoying the show? Are you enjoying the books? Are you enjoying everything we're doing here at Blue Butterfly Enterprises? If so, go up to bluebutterflyenterprises.com and check out our store and buy some of our memorabilia. Wouldn't it be cool to have a Becca's World hat or t-shirt or coffee mug or bumper sticker for your car? I'm gonna get one for my car when I get a car that I can drive.
Yeah.
So,
All right, guys.
yeah, I don't know. It's just cooking is interesting, and we all gotta eat. So I kind of wanted to bring that up just to see what people thought about it. And
have you guys looked at? Speaking of cooking, have you guys looked at the what is it called? The NFB's Independence Market online?
I've heard of it. I've never actually gone in there and checked it out.
I went there like a year or two ago and did kind of browse around.
So they have an NFB. It's what is it called? The Independence Market online, but they also have it in person at their convention every year. And I prefer to go to the in-person one when I can, but I've ordered offline too. If you call the national headquarters, they have a department that will help you make orders off of there if you want. So
well, and why you'd want to do that is because they have like measuring cups with braille, half a cup, three-quarters cup.
They have accessible measuring cups and measuring spoons, and I think timers, and they have accessible recipe books and all kinds of great things on there, and not just for in the kitchen, I think for other areas of life too. So I encourage our viewers to go to NFB, that's National Federation of the Blind, .org, and check out their Independence Market.
Well, one other thing too about cooking for a blind person, kind of like what you said, Brandon, is I can cook you a good hot dish. I beg your pardon. If you're not from Minnesota, you don't know what that is. That's called a casserole in the rest of the 49 states. But I can make you a hot dish just as good as anyone else can. But I am going to do it in a totally different way than y'all will who can see. Mine will taste just as good as yours is, providing, of course, I provide the recipe. Use the recipe, the same one as you do. So I could do it, but it's going to take me longer, and I'm going to do it a lot different than someone who can see. Those methods or those braille measuring cups and that kind of thing can definitely be a very handy resource, because I know we use that kind of stuff here.
So have you guys ever do you guys know how to thread a needle?
Oh, it's been a long
I
used to.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I went blind when I was 12 years old, and my home ec teacher, Miss Sizer, when I was in high school, she I don't know, it was like she realized that I was different than the other students and she had to make things different for me. I remember she taught me how to thread a needle. Like she taught me to take a toothpick and wrap the end of the thread around it and then drop the toothpick through the needle threader. You know what I mean?
You know, I reckon I learned the same kind of way when I took home ec. I think it was a very similar
Yeah.
method because I took home ec and I had to do that. So I think I learned it kind of the same way, but it's been a long time back. I tell you
Yeah.
what, it's been maybe fixing to be 20 years almost since I did that. So and that's interesting because I'm 21. So
Well,
you
so
can
it
do the math
hasn't
there.
quite been 20 years, maybe more like 3 or 4.
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
But you know what's funny is I can kind of connect this to what the business that I'm spinning up. So to do it the way that I'm doing it, you have to be a client of vocational rehabilitation, and they ask about all this stuff: AAT skills, Braille literacy skills, independent living skills, and there again, you see, it's like, okay, am I going to ask you, to go whip me up chicken cacciatore? No,
Yeah,
I'm not going to do.
Are you
that,
doing
but,
BEP, Brendan?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
And so they had to assess me in all those areas, and I
Yeah.
passed.
Good.
And so I've been, authorized to start the training classes. They're supposed to start next month, but it's like,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I don't know if they make all these other people do that. I'm sure the Small Business Administration isn't saying like, "Hey, can you make me a taco?" I don't think they're
Well, if
saying
anyone's
that.
listening, I'm still looking for work. So
So can you leave your email address in case they want to hire you, Paul?
sure. My email address is BRL Bravo Romeo Lima .cents CENTS @gmail.com. Once again, that's BRL.CENTS @gmail.com. Accepting jobs now.
Did you say CENTS?
He did. I'm wondering about
Braille
that
sense?
too.
You got
That's
it.
cute. That's
Why
cute.
not SENSE?
Well, because I didn't want copyright infringement to happen to me.
Yeah, because of the Braille sense.
Yeah.
It wouldn't
yeah.
have the dot in the middle.
Well, when I made it, I was quite a young child when I made that email address. So you have to pardon me there. So yeah, I'm glad y'all got all that.
I like the fake voice there, Paul. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. Y'all. I'm glad y'all caught that because I was wondering if it was going to get caught.
I will keep my eyes and ears open, let you know. Although you've said in the past, Mr. Tandy, that you currently are residing in California. You might need to move.
By the way, way to use my full name on the podcast. Really appreciate that.
I'm just saying you might need to move. I might be kind of get.
Why does he need to move?
Crap. Because they got so much regulatory crap out there in California.
It's true.
Oh, yeah.
California, there's a lot of like remote stuff. I mean, a lot of companies don't want to hire say remote workers in California because of the tax laws that we have here. And
Are you open to relocating?
It's a real thing. Oh yes, I'm absolutely open. If not, maybe hoping
Hoping to
maybe
relocate.
Okay. I'm just saying you might need to move.
I mean, I did just go to.
There's a reason why I moved from there.
I did just go to the South a couple weeks ago. So I mean,
Okay. Why did you move from there, Brandon?
Because it was getting insane even when I lived there, and I'm like,
yeah.
I just can't handle this. This is
Was the cost
nonsensical.
of living was getting insane, or the crime?
No, the policies. I mean, when I was living there, they were giving driver's licenses to illegal aliens.
Oh,
Yeah, I said it. Illegal aliens, not immigrants.
And they
were
wouldn't even give one to
undocumented
you,
illegal
would they?
aliens.
And they wouldn't even
No.
give you a driver's license, would they? And you're a
They-
qualified citizen.
play the laughter sound.
I never even bothered to ask.
was
There was such
good.
lunacy. Yeah, that's how I feel about Californian leadership. Yeah. You call yourself sensible? Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, you did leave California, right? So there is a little bit more sanity here than there was before you left.
There is?
Yeah.
How
I thought it would
dare
never
you?
return. I thought it would never return. I didn't. So, but there's still a lot of regulations, though, right? Because I
correct.
see when I order things, California proposition
No,
statement, blah 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 blah.
I was making a joke that you're insane and that you leaving provided more sanity in California. I guess
Oh, wow.
He
I
was
guess there
shooting
will-
at you,
Some could
Brandon.
argue that. Some could argue that.
I guess I didn't deliver it very well. I beg your pardon.
Some could argue that, I suppose. But anyway, unrepentant. I'm glad I left. So
Yeah, no, I
too
understand
many
that
taxes, too many regulations.
for everyone that lives here. I mean, the way that I describe, any place that I've lived in, I guess 3.5 places over my lifetime. For every pro there is, there's a con, and I look at that. I was adopted, so I don't know if that really counts. That's why I said half. But for every pro that there is, wherever you live, there's also equally a con. And I say that about California. For every pro there is, there's a con to it too. And so you just got to figure out what's really important to you.
That's funny because when I think of California, I think of all the cons. So what you're saying is there's pros for each of those cons?
Well, I mean, for some people there is. I mean, some people, if you live in Southern California, you always get to be by the beach. And the weather is always nice. And some people love that. You can go to Northern California just 5 hours away and you can get a winter and go snowboarding. If you want to go experience the rain in some places, you can go do that. So any kind of season you want in California is available, but it's expensive. Everywhere you go is expensive in California. And so it's like, why is everyone moving? Why is everyone moving to the southern states? Because it ain't as expensive. And why do those Southerners hate that? Because all these Californians come in with a whole bunch of money. And when people look to buy houses that are from the South, they can't compete with the numbers that the Californians are willing to give. And so the Southerners are pissed.
It really gets me that there's so many people there when the cost of living's so high. Who would want to pay to live there?
Well, that is the
You
problem.
couldn't pay me enough to move there.
That is the problem, is a lot of Californians are moving to Tennessee, Texas, and depending on how you look at it, it could be a positive way or a negative way, depending on what your thoughts are. But the political landscapes in a lot of those states are changing because more people are leaving California to go to those cheaper states than going into California.
So do you think that's why your taxes are going up?
No, I think the taxes would have gone up if I just looked at the elected officials. I don't.
And you're not wrong. That's why Arizona is now purple.
You know what, guys? We should talk about New York City. Have you guys
New York City?
Yeah, you sound like you're on that old Pace McConney commercial. You guys remember that?
Uh-huh.
Do you guys remember that commercial from the 80s? It was like Pace McConney sauce, I think. And someone on the commercial says, he's from New York City, boys. And they go, no, they say
New York City.
New York City?
Yeah.
Get a rope.
Yeah.
You're welcome. If anyone ever emails the show and their name is Bob, I'm going to do hi, Bob.
And if you want to email the show, ladies and gentlemen, you can email us at beccameadows76@gmail.com. And I promise I will get better about checking our email.
Anyone named Elliot calls in or emails us, Elliot, E-T. Okay.
Well, I will keep you in mind at any rate, though, Paul. If I hear of any juicy jobs, I will let you know.
Well, thanks. I do appreciate that because I'd like to get back in the workforce sometime soon. So.
If you go on the Lyft app, there's a section in there for drivers. Why don't you click on that and put in an application?
I really appreciate that because I actually was looking at being a firefighter, but they wouldn't accept my application. So rude.
Really?
I know. It was rude.
Okay, guys. I think there are certain jobs that as blind people we can but other jobs that is blind people we cannot do. Like,
You know,
do
we
not
should-
apply to be a bomb disarmer. Just don't do it. That's a bad idea.
Why not?
Well,
It's a
don't you
bad idea. I'm
think
gonna
about
do
it?
that.
If the guy disarming the bomb is blind, he can't see what's coming at him, so he'll probably be less nervous while he's disarming it.
I'm
you know, less
telling you,
likely
it's
to
a
screw
bad
up.
idea. That's not a good idea. I'm telling you.
I mean, I don't want to be rude, but I mean, you know, when you got to find a job, you got to find a job. So if I'm disarming a bomb, I'm disarming a bomb, and a lot of times I do that when I go to the bathroom, but that might be a different kind of bomb. So I beg your
Well,
pardon.
Yeah.
Because of your experience, maybe you should apply as a bomb disarmer.
Well, we don't have to talk about that anyway.
Okay.
Whoa,
Where
Whoa.
was that explosion? I heard an explosion.
sorry.
I told him it was a bad idea, and he didn't listen to me. I told him.
I just did it. I did it. Y'all heard it there. Y'all heard it. Now, where's my paycheck?
He somehow survived.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not such a bad idea. What the heck? I don't know. This is crazy. This is crazy.
This podcast has been hilarious actually this evening. So it's been fun.
Okay,
Yeah,
is that the end of the show or just a commercial break? I think it's
No,
a commercial.
I think we're wrapping it up.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight for another exciting episode of The Blind View. Please be sure to like, share, and hit the subscribe button. Peace out.
Bye,
now.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching Becca's World. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel.